Welcome to Law Firms on the Map, the go-to digital marketing show for attorneys serious about their business growth. I'm your host, Kristaps Brencans, CEO of On the Map Marketing. Our agency has helped thousands of attorneys crush their SEO and digital marketing goals over the last decade. Today, I'm meeting with legal marketing legend, Braden Pollock. Braden made his mark in legal marketing around 15 years ago by building massive DUI lead generation website that expanded in several nationwide known brands. Since he has started his own legal lead generation company, Legal Brand Marketing, he's also a world-renowned domain investor and is actively involved in several entrepreneurial ventures. What an honor to have you here, Braden. Thank you for coming on.
Wow, that's quite an intro. I'm impressed with myself. I shouldn't say anything because it's only going to be downhill from here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. I actually wrote it myself. I put some real thought into it, so I'm glad I was able to impress you.
I don't think I can live up to all that.
Well, good. We set the bar really high now.
Yeah.
But all the jokes aside, we've had a couple conversations before, and I was incredibly impressed. And I really think of you as legal marketing legend, and it's a real honor to have you here. So to kick things off, maybe you could give us a little intro about yourself and your start in legal lead generation or legal marketing, so to say.
Well, it started almost 20 years ago when I founded Legal Brand Marketing, which at the time was just for DUI attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
And we've since expanded into lots of practice areas. But that was our focus at the time, and we were definitely the largest provider of DUI leads in the country. And it provided leads to all the major DUI firms.
Yeah.
So I mean that's how it started. I can't believe it. It was in January January of 2004. That's what it was.
Wow. So what was kind of the first step? You told me a little bit about the story, but I'd love to share that with our audience as well.
How did it all start?
Yeah, you're, I think you were involved in some immigration law practice, and then you shifted into DUI.
Yeah, I had an immigration business. After 9/11, it just started going down into the toilet, and I just could not keep it alive. People did not want to migrate to the U.S. when we had terrorist attacks. Can't blame them. And so I was looking for something else to get into, and a friend of mine at the time was kind of dabbling with DUI defense, and he was telling me about it. And it just seemed interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I always had believed in kind of national brands, right? So,
right.
Anywhere you go to a McDonald's, right? You know what you're going to get. I mean, it's going to be crap, but you know what kind of crap you're going to get. Right. You're get unhealthy crap food, but you know it's consistent unhealthy crap food. Or a Starbucks. Anywhere in the world you go into Starbucks, you're going to get bitter coffee, but you know what kind of bitter coffee you're going to get.
Yeah.
Not to only use poor examples, but I had. Now remember, this is 2000. When I was researching, it was 2003, and so I got back to my office after this lunch I had and went on to, I don't even know if it was Google, but I went to a search engine and I had searched for DUI lawyers, and there was like a handful of websites. None of them were very good, and there was no national brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could do better. I had an in-house webmaster at the time for my immigration business. And so I told him, let's build a DUI site. And of course, his response was, what? What are you talking about? And so we proceeded to, I wrote tons and tons of content.
Mm-hmm. So you were writing the content yourself at first?
Yeah, of course. I was writing content. Okay. I mean, I wrote hundreds of articles, and then eventually I got like an Indian team, and we built out lots and lots. Eventually, it was 40,000 pages.
Wow. What was the domain? Is it still around?
1-800-DUI-laws.com. And,
Okay.
I have the phone number 1-800-DUI-LAWS and 1-800-DWI-LAWS, which, at the time I thought was genius
Right.
but nowadays that long domain name is not that great. We've since acquired DUIattorneys.com and DWIlawyers.com, etc.
So your business kind of took a little angle. You're building out the 1-800 DUI laws, and at the same time you're started to learn about domaining. Is that correct? Or how did you get into the domain vertical?
Initially, I was learning about SEO, right? And so that's why we built out all these 40,000 pages. And I had an Indian team creating all this content. And it was all very similar, right? We change it 10 or 20%, which of course you can't do now, right? Now it has to be original content. But then it was a page for every DMV in the country and a page for every courthouse in the country. And it was just kind of fluff. But we got to these tens of thousands of pages, and that created this big authoritative site that just crushed the SERPs. And to the point where, so then I started buying domain names, both for clients, because we were building websites, and for our own use. And it would be geo practice area lawyer, right? So Santa Monica DUIlawyer.com.
Okay.
Or DUI lawyer Santa Monica.net, because it didn't matter if it was .comnet or .org. All those legacy extensions are perfectly good. It didn't matter the order of which you used the words.
Okay.
It didn't matter whether or not you had a dash, because a dash is considered a space by the search engines. So I picked up about 15,000 domain names.
Wow. Talking about scale, you just think big, starting with a website. Let's build a real portfolio.
Well, look, I think we probably tested with 100 sites or something, and then continued doing it. And initially, I was getting somebody to build these very thin sites for something like $100 back then, which would be probably $200, with inflation today. But we started building them out, and they were ranking relatively well, even though they were like 5 to 7 page sites. Then there was something called platform development back then. No longer works today. We would auto-generate these sites. So there's a program that would go out and would pull like e-zine articles, if you remember e-zine, and videos and images and anything that was tagged appropriately, would just take all those and bring it together and create this 5 to 7 page site. And every month would go out and grab another piece of content on there. And so it was all relevant to the keywords, but it was garbage content. But we would have our lead form on there, and it would continue to get updated, so it was getting indexed well.
Yeah.
At one point, I was focused on the keywords DUI expungement, and if you search that in Yahoo or Google, we were the top 100 results.
Wow.
In search engine. So the strategy worked very well. Got a lot of traffic, and we got leads from it, and it was super cheap to do. And then one day, it was gone.
Algorithm update. Okay.
Yeah, it just disappeared.
So what was your pivot after that?
Well, at that point, we were still generating leads through 1-800 DUI laws, as well as other websites that we had built, DWI lawyers and DUI attorneys, and there were tons and tons of sites that we had built out. But all of those auto-generated sites just disappeared. Almost. There were a few that actually kind of held on for whatever reason, because we had geo-specific sites, so Tallahassee TicketLawyer.com or something like that, and that might hold on. And so, and some of those we ended up selling off to lawyers just with the content.
What kind of link building were you doing? That seems like an insanely huge portfolio of websites to keep consistently developing.
Back then, we used to call it I think it was like a link block or something. We had this block of links at the bottom of each page. And so we cross-linked all of our websites.
Oh, all right.
And then we had the websites on different servers. And so, it worked at the time. You can't do that now. there's no sense in going into the detail because it doesn't work
I
anymore.
know. Those were the heydays of SEO.
Right. It was easy to kind of trick Google, but not
So
anymore.
what kind of was the shift for you business wise? Obviously, you were pretty involved, like heavily involved with the DUI website brand. You stemmed out a couple other brands with that, and then same time you had a big domain portfolio.
Yeah.
How are you running both of those? I guess you could even call it business verticals simultaneously. Like, what was the path there?
I mean, I wasn't alone. I had a whole staff.
Okay.
It wasn't me, that's for sure. I can't take credit for it.
So you had a pretty big staff that continued growing the 1-800-DUI law site?
Yeah, among other sites.
Mm-hmm.
We started building out lots. And I couldn't even tell you how many sites we have now that we made.
So those sites live under legal brand marketing. That's your lead generation company. When did you start that?
That was in 2004.
Okay. So you incorporated the company when you started the first website as well.
So at the time it was called 1-800-DUI laws, and then what happened was, I think about a year later or so, there was another directory called drunkdrivingdefense.com.
Mm-hmm.
And one called DUI-DWI.com, and I acquired those two. And at that point, it made sense to change the name to Legal Brand Marketing. And I also wanted to, even though we were still all DUI, I wanted to have a name that was a little bit broader, not just DUI. A few years later, I bought a large directory of traffic ticket. It was a traffic ticket lead gen site called Ticket Void with an app. And so it made sense to be Legal Brand Marketing. So we just changed it to the same as all.
The last 20 years, you've been acquiring and developing legal websites that drive traffic across different practice area questions and needs.
Yeah, we bought one called legalinfo.com, I think, and that was kind of general legal.
Right.
But a lead gen site. And we've acquired a bunch. DWIlawyers.com, when we acquired that, was fully developed.
So how big is currently your legal domain portfolio?
Oh, the domain portfolio? Well, legal names, I probably still have a couple of, maybe 2,000.
Okay.
When the algorithm changed, I got rid of the names that were kind of out of order or with one dash between a couple.
Right.
The ones that were not good brands, I got rid of. And then over the years, I kind of pared it down and sold off names that weren't very good. But I still have the better names. As a matter of fact, I have a call with a lawyer. He wants, I think it's Los Angeles accidentattorney.com, I believe is the one that he wants. So I still have some very good names.
What are the top 3 most valuable legal domains you have right now in your portfolio?
Probably in the high 5 figures, like attorney or trafficaccent.com, which is high 5 figures. I think it's 75,000.
Trafficaccident.com?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
There's a handful of those. I just sold expungements.com for 30,000.
Okay.
There's a handful of those, but I would say most of them are geo-specific and practice area, right?
Yeah.
So it's LAaccidentattorney.com, or it's BostonDivorceLawyer.com, something like that. And those are typically in kind of the mid 4 figures. There's some that are 10 or 20,000. But I would say majority are probably mid 4 figures.
So I want to play a little exercise with you. Say you were starting a law firm, personal injury law firm somewhere in, I don't know, any state. What would be your approach, taking in consideration your brand building capabilities, domain knowledge, SEO knowledge? How would you compile all those ingredients together and start a law firm marketing strategy?
So my advice about domains is going to be exactly the same as your advice about SEO.
Okay.
Right. So you're going to talk to somebody and they're going to be, I don't know, a Boston accident lawyer, right? And so those are the keywords you're going to focus on. Those are going to be the most expensive, and then you'll go for some long tail keywords. But the primary keyword that someone is going to search for, that's the domain you want, and preferably a .com. So if you're a Boston accident lawyer, you want bostonaccidentlawyer.com or lawyers.com or attorney or attorneys.com. Any of those four are really kind of equivalent value. And even if you're solo, don't think, well, I need to have a singular, not plural. It doesn't matter from a search engine perspective. And also, you want to grow, and your client is not going to think like, oh, they're a bigger firm or they're a smaller firm based on singular or plural. That doesn't really resonate. But if you're statewide, if you're in California, right? So you're not just practicing out of one local area and you go to a couple of courthouses, but maybe you have a couple of offices. You're in Los Angeles and San Francisco, then be, CaliforniaAccidentLawyer.com, right?
Okay, like statewide.
Right. Even though people will search for Los Angeles or they'll search for San Francisco or they might search for San Diego, California is kind of a better brand since you cover more than just those areas. Now, I do like, and of course you build out, from an SEO perspective, you build out specific city pages within that site. I would go so far, if the budget is there, I'd recommend also building out city-specific sites. I feel that the more lines you have in the water, the more opportunity to catch fish, right?
Okay.
So while you're going to have a San Diego page on your California site, you could have a San Diego site. And so you're kind of competing with yourself, but the more search results that lead to you, the better off you are.
Absolutely.
But of course, this is all budget driven because that means you have to build out two sites, buy two domain names and build out two sites and maintain those. So it's a little bit more work, but if you can afford to do it and it makes sense for you, then do it. I mean, that's kind of the best of both worlds. Otherwise, get the single best domain you can and the single best SEO firm that you can to maintain that site for you.
Right.
That was a little plug for you, Chris.
Thank you, Braden. SEO is like a sport. There's a couple options and teams just going against each other. That's how I see it. It's fun. Now, let me ask you this. We're talking a lot about domains and organic results. Have you noticed in the last couple of years, and obviously, operating so many websites, have you noticed decrease in leads generated from your websites due to increase of ads, due to increase of map sizes in some of these search queries that you rank for and would normally generate leads from?
Well, what I've noticed is Google has continually taken up as much space above the fold as possible, right? So they're putting up what seems like benign content, a map or some other answers to commonly asked questions or other things that seem like they're perfectly good results, but really their objective is to push everybody down, right? To push all the organic results further down the page. And so now oftentimes you do a search, especially if you're on a laptop, you do a search, there's zero organic results over the fold, right? You have to scroll to see any kind of organic results because they're just trying to take up real estate. And so even the top 3 paid results, the sponsor results, they're actually deeper now. They've just created more space. They've literally opened up that box further just to take up more space.
I know,
So the objective is really just to push, and then they put ads on the side, right? And then that box has widened as well to narrow everything down. The objective is just to continue pushing everything down.
Exactly.
And so if you are not, so now if there's 4, it used to be 10 results on the first page, and it's like it's hard to get there. So there might be 4. And if you want to be above the fold, you have to pay for it, right? That is really their objective,
right?
Is to push everybody into sponsor. So that's the toughest thing now. That it used to be like if you're number 8 in the search results, you're doing pretty well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you're not doing as well as you used to be doing, even though you're number 8, because you're so far down the page. You're much, much further down the page than you ever were before.
Yeah.
It's a lot more scrolling. So, but that's the Google monster for you.
Right. So have you seen influence of that in your lead gen sites?
Yeah, we just have to pay more.
So you guys also run ads across your websites?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't do the same kind of advertising we used to. So when I first started, I was placing banner ads on, lawyer pages on, yellowpages.com, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, really diminished over time. So it's been years since we've done that, but we still sponsor. We run ads in state criminal association, bar associations,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing. So it's not just Google and Bing.
I see.
It's all over the place. I mean, we used to mail out print magazines to arrestees. We used to do all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
The exact formula that we're running now, I'm not saying it.
Oh, so I didn't randomly stumble into the answer? No?
No.
Okay. But maybe you can give us just a little, I guess my question is more around content creation, because obviously you're building massive websites and you have a huge portfolio of websites.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you are ranking for the direct exact match keywords, because it's usually law firms or directories like Clarkson, Lawyer Miami.
It's become very difficult to compete against a large law firm. It used to be that we were always at the top, even sponsors, that we could outspend our clients, and we can't anymore because there's so many lawyers advertising. And when you've got an accident lawyer spending $115 a click, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, I call that ego marketing, because it's usually somebody that's competing against somebody else and they're trying to outdo their direct competitor. And we can't play that game. And we also can't, if we've got a lead that's, I don't know, $200, we can't spend $100 a click, because it's going to be 10 clicks before we get a lead. So we can't spend $1,000 a lead and then sell for 200. It doesn't pencil out. So we compete where we can. So oftentimes it's longer tail keywords, but there's thousands and thousands of keywords tens of thousands of keywords that we're bidding on. It's just longer tail, and we can't compete with accident lawyer, that kind of term.
Yeah. So you see pretty solid conversions from those long tail keywords.
Sure. There's just not a ton of them, but if you're bidding on 35,000 different keywords, then you're going to get some volume from that.
Yeah. How are you able to navigate the locations where these leads are coming from? Because nation's big and different states have different. Like, let's say you have a client in Florida. How do you know you're going to be able to generate the Florida leads for them?
Well, I mean, we are trying to bid on keyword specific where we can, and geo target where we can. But we also have pretty national coverage. Like, almost everything is national. Of course, our sales team wouldn't have anything to do if everything was sold. So there might be a city or a county in a particular practice area somewhere that's not sold, and that's what they're focused on. But I don't know that our coverage for auto accident is probably well into the 90th percentile, right? But that doesn't mean we won't have some attrition and some turnover. Whereas traffic ticket might be 60%. I'm making up these numbers. I have no idea.
Yeah, of course.
So, but we are marketing nationally for all of our practice areas, and so it is possible that we have a practice area, we have no one in, I don't know, Montana. So we might cut out Montana,
Yeah.
right? Montana related keywords, but we're still going to be targeting broad match keywords, right? So we still might get some in Montana, but that's okay because there's still ways to sell them. We might wholesale those leads to somebody, or we might give them away as a lost leader to bring in a client. So we're not shying away from everything, and we target the best we can.
Okay.
I'm not giving you specifics for two reasons.
No. You gave me a little insight.
I can't give away the secret sauce, and two is I literally can't give the secret sauce because I don't know it. Because I don't handle. No, I'm not bidding.
I should have had someone from your team on then.
You know what? They are a lot smarter than I am. The woman that runs Legal Brand Marketing, she's been with me for December. This past December, we celebrated her 15th anniversary with Legal Brand Marketing. And the VP, I think she's 8.5 years. Let's see, director of sales is, I think he's 7 years. So everybody's been there for years.
And how big is your SEO team? People actually building
honestly
this?
I don't even know. I think the team itself is, and this is just like me counting the photos on the website. I want to say the team is something like 14 people or something.
Big,
and that doesn't include. We have people in the Philippines that are full-time that have been with us for years. I think they may not be listed, and it doesn't account for like our accounting department. There's 2 people in the accounting department. I don't think they're listed. So I honestly don't know how many people. I haven't met everybody. I don't run the day-to-day anymore because it's been 20 years, and I focus mostly on domain names now, and not just legal names, but high ticket 6 and 7 figure names.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. We're coming to a close, but I did have a couple. All right. Well, I have a couple more fire questions for you. So we always get this question in legal marketing when clients say, how long it's going to take to rank? What would be your answer when someone asks you how long it's going to take to rank?
I would say, how much money do you have?
Oh, that's a good one. All right. Well, let's say we have 75.
You can do anything you want. It just takes money. Whatever you want to do. Right?
So how would you approach, let's say, near unlimited budget SEO? What would be, where would you invest those resources?
Well, look, I don't claim to be an SEO expert. I will claim to be a domain expert, but not a SEO. Okay. So, starting with the domain, get the best domain that your budget will allow, right? And if not one, maybe multiple, right? You want good, solid content. Just start with the basics, right? Build a good site that's search engine friendly, that's built correctly with good original content. Don't put up a bunch of crap content. Good stuff. Don't think that you can go to Chat GPT and get content because that is, and if it works today, it is going away. Do not invest in AI written content because the search Google is smart enough to know what has been cobbled together on the web, which is what AI does, is they cobble together existing content, and it will be duplicate content, and it will one day disappear. So don't invest in that. Invest in a writer who creates real original content for you, and put up a lot of content, and then continue to add content and good content, newsworthy content. If there is something that happens in the news that's relevant, have it written up and have it put up right away, right? Because this is in the news, people are searching for it, and you want relevant, newsworthy, timely content that'll help drive traffic and boost your rankings, and you keep doing it. And whether it's linking, whether it's content, hire a good SEO team to maintain it because you're a lawyer, right? So lawyers need to do their job and hire the people to do their job. And a lawyer always, when a client calls a lawyer and says, well, maybe I could represent myself, They always say those who represent themselves have a fool for a client. The same applies to SEO. Don't think that you can maintain your own website. You can't. It's not what you do. I'm not saying don't learn about it. Great, learn about it so that you know what your SEO expert is talking about, but let them do it.
Yeah, that's a great advice.
And yet, I would add one more thing is if you really want to be competitive, figure out what your direct competitor is, or what your direct competitor is doing,
Right.
or the competitor that's doing phenomenal, the person that you really want to emulate. Figure out what they're doing, figure out how much they're spending, and assume that you're going to spend at least that much.
Yeah. What do you think? How can law firms kind of break out from that first layer of, hey, I just started a law firm, till they actually have a solid marketing budget? What's the quickest way to generate some form of leads to increase their revenue?
Well, buy them.
Buying leads.
Yeah, I forgot I should pitch my business too. So look, the quickest, while you're building out a website, which will take time, right? It's going to take you. It could take you a year. You can supercharge it by throwing a lot of money at it. You can supercharge it by buying an existing domain name that's relevant and using that link juice, right? So there's all these there's some shortcuts that you can do. But if you buy leads from Legal Brand Marketing or some other lead source, you get somebody that has raised their hand that says, I need to hire a lawyer for this thing.
Yeah.
And if you're using a reputable company like ours, if it's bad lead, you're not going to pay for it. So if you buy, I don't know, Los Angeles auto accident leads from us, and that person got into an accident in Florida, we're not going to charge you for that lead. If that person got into an accident but doesn't need a lawyer and was confused, we're not going to charge you for that lead. If you call that phone number and it's disconnected and the email bounces, we're not going to charge you for that lead, right? We're only going to charge you if it's a real person that really has that issue and is really looking for a lawyer for that issue. Now, we can't help it if they only had a question and they don't really want to hire. Like, we can't kind of weed that out.
Yeah.
We can only identify that they really do need a lawyer for that particular thing. And then it's your job to convert them. But you don't need a website. You don't need anything to get those leads, right? So you can get those right away. We can turn you on today and the leads will start coming. Because we already have the websites up. We're already doing the marketing. We can send you those calls. We can send you those forms. And that's how you hit the ground running. And by the way, initially, a lot cheaper. Because you're going to spend whatever. It might be $20 for a traffic ticket lead. It might be $200 for an auto accident, or $100 for a DUI, or whatever that cost is. I think bankruptcies are 35 or 50 or something like that. You're going to get them right away, and you're only going to be spending tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars for each lead, and you can convert that into a multi-$1,000 client today. As opposed to building a website takes time. If you're just starting out your business, fact is, do both. Because even if you build, some people say, well, I'd rather spend it on my brand. Well, that's okay. Definitely spend money on your brand. But guess what? We're still generating those leads. And we're still selling those leads. And if you don't buy those leads from us, we're literally selling to your direct competitor.
Yeah.
Literally, right? It's somebody that's right down the street in your same geographic area, in your city, practicing this in the same practice area as you are. So if you don't buy them, it's going to your competitor. Because it's kind of a zero-sum game. There's only so many people getting into car accidents in your city or getting a divorce in your county, right? So there's only so many customers, and we have some of them. And what you do is not going to stop us from getting them.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about our newborn relationship to supplement some of the lead flow for our clients too. So it's exciting and it's hard. It's hard to generate these leads. There's directories you can go to, but then again, you have to kind of get involved with their contracts, and it's not as straightforward as it is. Here's 2-3 additional leads to supplement your intake.
Yeah. And we don't have long-term contracts. Like, that's all I want is to have a lawyer in a long-term contract I don't want to be in, right? We just require a 30-day notice. Easy to get in. easy to get out. We've been doing this for 20 years. If we were not reputable, we would have been gone a long time ago, right? I don't think we have any negative reviews online. I haven't searched lately, but for all these years, we've never had negative reviews. So unless someone posted one yesterday, um, you get your money back if you're not happy. We don't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't be sustainable if we screwed our clients.
So, Braden, kind of some of the finishing notes here. What do you have to say to people who are saying SEO is dead? It's dying. It's gone. Do you think there's some validity to that?
Listen, I mean, there's just like the people are saying that domain names are dead. I think the Flat Earth Society still exists, so you can go to their meetings and talk about that stuff. You know, the people that like that reference. No, just
that's a good one.
It's funny that these people that they make these claims that SEO is dead or domain names don't mean anything are the people that really have no idea.
Right.
It makes why would you think that domain names? What do you know about the industry? Like, what data do you have to support that? What makes you think SEO is dead? What data do you have? Of course, SEO is not dead, right? You're being clobbered by all the people that know that SEO is not dead because they're actually working on their SEO.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are the industry leader and you're doing no SEO, okay, fine. Let's talk about how SEO is dead. Mm-hmm. But that's not what's happening. All the people that are crushing it in your business, in your industry, they're focused on SEO.
Yeah.
And they're paying for it.
I got really the SEO bug when I started working on the map. And once you start understanding that you're investing in your website, you're building out your own web property, it's addicting. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What do you think the search engine is going to look like in 2-3 years?
Oh God, it's anybody's guess. I think that AI is going to play a part. I think we're going to get the search results are going to be a lot more targeted to what people are looking for.
Like more personalization.
I think this will be more personal. Yeah. The fact that there are cookies are going away. There are better ways for the search engines to recognize who you are based on your device and what apps you have and all these other things that people really don't know that search engines are looking at. And so the ads and the search results are getting more and more targeted. And with AI, that will improve the targeting. Mm-hmm. And so when you start searching now, Google doesn't want to give you a link to somebody else's website. Google wants to keep you on Google, right? And so that's why they want to give you a map, one of their maps, or that's why they want to give you answers or a snippet of content that frankly they have scraped and stolen from somebody else, right? It's not their content, it's our content, it's from our website. That's because they're perfectly happy to give you that answer and keep you on their page on google.com looking at their ads, because that's where they make money. They don't make any money when you just link through google.com to somebody else's website. Yeah. So we're going to see a lot more personalization and a lot more targeted answers and responses to what you're looking for right on google.com or Yahoo or whatever, or Bing, whatever the search engine is. That's what I see happening. It's already happening, as I mentioned at the top of the show, how Google is already is adding more and more content to push down the organic search results, because that's not where they make their money. Yeah, right. They make money by just here's the answer you're looking for. As they improve that, it's more likely that we're going to go to Google to search for the thing that we want. So they just want to give us that thing and keep us in Google and keep us within their ecosystem. What do you think that's going to mean for business like yours, for attorneys that are ranking really well on SEO? I think there's still a lot of people that are going to really want true search results, right? They don't want to stay. If you look back in the AOL days, right, it was a walled garden. Everything you did was on AOL servers, and people eventually kind of got wise to that, and they said, okay, we don't we don't want to be just on AOL server. We don't just want this AOL product. We want to go out into the world and look at other people's websites about their businesses, not just about AOL stuff. If Google continues to go that direction, people are going to recognize it. And not everybody. I mean, I still think you're going to get like the 80-year-old lady that's like, all right, well, there's the answer. That's
right.
Just the top result, and that's enough. But then the rest of us, and people are getting more and more computer savvy, right?
Yeah.
The rest of us will want true search results and find the business that we want to look at and click through their website. So we'll always have that opportunity, right? But I think the Bings and the Googles and the Yahoos of the world will try to keep us on their servers as much as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess that's why also you're buying a little bit of ad traffic as well.
Well, of course. I mean, we have to do all of it, right? We do all kinds of stuff. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of different campaigns that we're running. I mean, if you think over the last 20 years, all the stuff that we've done from direct, we do offline stuff, direct mail, because believe it or not, people still go to their mailbox.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, Braden, this has been amazing conversation. I want to be respectful and highly appreciative of your time. So we're almost at 45 minutes. So that was our dedicated time. Maybe any last words for attorneys that are, getting into digital marketing, kind of last advice from digital marketing, legal digital marketing legend?
Well, I think there's three pillars to support your business, right? Other than practicing law from a marketing perspective. Good domain name, a good website, and maintaining that website with SEO. I think those are the three important marketing pillars that apply to every industry, right? And for the lawyers that think that people are just going to beat a path to their door, they're wrong, because their competitor is focused on those three marketing pillars, and they're going to get crushed, right, by their competitor if they don't focus on those things too. So domain name, website, and website maintenance.
Nice. That's a good one. And I think in a website we can boil in Google Business Profile as well.
SEO is a broad term. I mean, and that's kind of the problem with SEO and SEM, and it's broad. That's why I said maintenance, because there really is a lot of maintenance, and your SEO team or webmaster or whoever it is that you're using needs to make sure that they're doing all of those things, right? So local listings, etc.
Well, thank you, Braden. Where can our listeners find you?
I'm on the Twitter at Braden Pollock. You can find me at legalbrandmarketing.com or Braden at legalbrandmarketing.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We'll put everything in show notes, and I think this was an awesome conversation. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.